Although it's been a lot of work, but not a lot of work. It's just something that's got to take time. But this is my solar cabin, my off-grid cabin that I've been working on. As you see the color, you see the windows, right? I basically finished the windows. This thing was all this one color once before, right? I went ahead and got some basic exterior paint, and I painted the outsides of the windows. Over here, I basically started the first part of my rain catching system, which is basically a food grade 55-gallon barrel, and it's pretty simple. It's a pretty easy setup. Anybody can do this. Basically, I have rain gutters, which I installed. If you can see, it's kind of on a slant. That's to take the rain down, to go down into the tubing, right? And then it's going to just come right through the downspout, right into the bucket. And I have a sieve here, which I basically cut a hole in the top of this container to basically be able to slide in the filter, and that's to catch any leaves or debris. Down here at the bottom, I installed this spigot. See, the spigot's there. So that's just basically part of this. Since I constructed all this, it hasn't rained. And I got the old Daryl dog out here with me. On the back side, I painted this forest green. That's more merely to keep more heat in the coming winter months where it's going to be a little cold out here. But I just wanted to have a darker color of the paint to basically take the heat in, to hold the heat in. This window, I actually put this window in when I first bought the unit. It only had two windows, one in the front and one in the side. I actually took the one out in front and I replaced it with another larger sliding vinyl window. And I took that window from the front and I put it in the back side here. So you see I've been kind of busy. If you're looking around, you see down here the loosened rock. It's basically clay with a dog smelling. That's the area. Basically in that area, I have dug up underground plumbing, which is basically right now going through another bucket that's cut in half, and the gravel laid underneath as like for my gray water. So basically it's just going to run out and go into the ground and go dissipate out there in the tree line somewhere, right? It's actually right about there. This has been some doing. So that's the window I put in right here, right? Like I said earlier, I took that window that came with out and I put it in the back, and I had this other larger window which I put in the front window. For a front window, I have it trimmed out. It's painted out. I went in and colored this in part, that green, forest green color, which I showed in the back. And I kind of went into some trim work on the decor, the trim, I don't know what they call that, but made that white. So I kind of gave it a little bit better look than just that tan color, because that's how it came, all that tan color and the green roof. But I tried to pull out some of the better colors, try to get a little bit better, I don't know, appearance wise to the outside. So that's where I'm at with the outside. As you can see, there's still plenty of work to be done inside, but it is all insulated all around and up in the ceiling. The whole ceiling area is insulated. All my walls in here are insulated. It is kind of a mess inside of here, but hey, it's living space and I can do things at times when I want to do them. But I have my solar panels outside, which you saw in the earlier video, and this is some of my collection, right? That's more of an experimental thing. I am on some power. I'm on 30 amp RV power. So, I mean, it's no rush to get all this for the solar panels done. But I have it pretty much moved in. As I said, I have it all insulated inside. So it's just taking one step at a time. I do have access to a shower, so I can take a shower, get cleaned up. Once again, it's just distraught in here, but you see I got the toilet, a working actual toilet inside. So, I mean, I'm not suffering any kind of way. But once again, it just takes time. But inside I have full microwave, I have coffee maker, oven, I have refrigerator. Here's is working for my for the water, inside water, right? Which is going to be fed through a on-demand pump to all the systems, to the toilet, to the shower, and to the kitchen sink when I get these things basically more built in place. That right there is AC unit, right? It's an indoor air conditioner with a tube fed. I might put a tube up through the one of the holes. I haven't decided what exactly I'm going to do with it. I don't even know if I'm going to really even install it because it wasn't too bad in the summer. Now we're in fall, but like I said, it wasn't too bad here in the summer. And since now I have the insulation, that kind of keeps a lot of the heat out. It does get warm inside here, but I open a couple windows. Like I have a back window here, and I have a front window up here, and the door. So it basically takes I put a fan up in the window to keep the screen shut because we get bugs flying in here. But basically it takes the draft, and I pull the draft from one end with a fan and then pull it out the other, right? And that gets a good flow of air through here, and so it's not so bad when it's even in the middle of July. It wasn't too bad. Only at night would get kind of warm to sleep, but hey, sleeping in underwear, no big deal. I'm all by myself out here. But anyway, as the decorations up here, some things that people need to really look into if they're trying a lifestyle like this would be a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector, which I have both of those. And also I would strongly suggest having a fire extinguisher, because you never know. I'm using an actual camping cook stove in here. It's a propane cook stove, and it's pretty much shielded. I have my dishes on it, but I'll show you the back side of this. Right, I have the back stove here, and I have my solar set up. I have my power converter or inverter right here, window right there, camp stove right here. And basically what that does is it takes, like, I'll kick the window open if I cook just to get any fresh breeze in here, any kind of, you know, ventable smoke or whatever from cooking, right? I just crack the window open, it will go right out the window. I'm not worried about stuff like this. I never had a problem with it. I've been in here for a couple of months now, and I'm perfectly happy inside. It gives me something to do every weekend, right? I'm just doing little projects here and there. Not really rushing to get things done. The cost of lumber is very high right now, so I'm kind of writing out mainly the cost of doing what I fully intend to do in here is 6-inch shiplap, which shouldn't be that expensive, but I'm watching the price is started to come down a little bit, and there's a local sawmill not too far from here, which I will be going and getting that lumber from. But I'm watching the prices drop a little bit, and allegedly we're in this big depression right now, or recession. So when I see these things letting go, and things started getting more equated out with this depression, then that's when I make my move to buy my lumber, because I just don't want to sit here and be paying out all this extra money for these people who are price gouging when I know it's going to change here in another 6 months maybe. So I'm just kind of writing that out. If it doesn't change, then I might just go buy, but I'm just kind of playing the game that they're playing, just so I, pay a decent price for it, because I know it's a lot more than it normally should be, right? And I know that they'll have room to come down. So that's just what I have, but I do have a lot of materials stacked away. There is full electric in here. I have electric panel already connected, right? I have powers coming from outside, so I have full electric in here. Which again, my electric is coming from an RV hookup, which we had installed. So I got the lines running, the proper height from the floor with the lines down to the boxes. I have an outlet here, and outlets here. And there's an outlet on the side kitchen here. There's an outlet back here behind this area, and one on the other side where my bathroom is. So it's slow going, but when I get all this filled in, I'm just going to put my panel board up here, and then I have all the equipment. I have all the supplies to do this. I just need to I'm just basically waiting on my shiplap to get this, to go to my next stage doing this. But I do have a door, one of those barn doors that slide. You got the rail up and it will slide back and forth. Up here, I could have turned this into living space. first of all, I built this out, this loft area out. If you saw the beginning, it didn't have a loft, but I built this out. And that which I intend on having my tools on one side of it and my excess canned goods on the other side for food storage. So I have that kind of storage. And up here, once again, is storage right now. At the moment, like you see, I have my tools and toolboxes and stuff up this, extra little stuff up here. Once I get a little farther ahead with these things, I'm going to take up there and I'm probably going to turn that into a reading nook, like a little lounge area where I can sit down and have like a shelf with library books, or not library, but my library, my books. This is a read, have a light up there, hang out, chill out, maybe. I'm also going to install, for my TV, I'm going to install one of those mounted TV mounts that can angle in any direction. So I'm thinking to somehow put it up in this area where I can angle it up. Since I have the barn style, I can just bring the TV up here and then I can kind of turn it up so I can hang out up there in the loft area. But then once again, it's all ad lib. So when I get to it, I have a lot of ideas, but it's just basically waiting for my shiplap. And my ceiling, I'm going to be doing a corrugated metal, which once again, I actually have the metal stored right now under tarps and whatever, but I'm going to put up the corrugated metal up here, and I'm going to leave it at that because that's metal outside. It's R19 insulation inside here. There's some holes I got to fill in here, but it's R19 and the roofing shingles. So the metal at the top, the metal at the bottom, this should be fine. The climate here, it does get a little cold for a while, but it's not as bad as some other climates, like up north, like say, for instance, Alaska or Canada, or you know, like up in Michigan or somewhere like this, right? It gets cold here, but not so cold that I think even this R19 is kind of overkill with the insulation. I do have a heater. It's out in the other garage over here, and I do have oil radiators, but I haven't. It's still kind of warm these days, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. But anyhow, I do have my table set up. I got a bunch of junk all over it. This, you know, it's a 4-seat table, and it's kind of a disaster because it's more in the process of being worked on, and I'm pretty much doing something every day. But anyway, this is the status report of where I'm at with my off-grid shelter.